Woe unto the shepherds, Ezekiel 13:2. Son of man, prophesies against the prophets of Israel that prophesies and say thou unto them, that prophesies out of their own hearts. Hear ye the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the deserts. Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the day of the Lord. Let me read this again because I don't think you guys understand what God is saying. You have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord. You have not made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord. You have not taught them the spiritual things required for them to understand what they need for the battle of the Lord in the day of the Lord. A lot of people don't understand what's going to be happening and understand about tribulation. All right, Son of man, prophesies against the shepherds of Israel, prophesies and say to them, thus says the Lord God unto the shepherds, woe be unto the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? Therefore, O you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, behold, I'm against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand. All right, God is going to require what you taught these people and not preparing them for battle and preparing them for the things that are coming and preparing him for the kingdom to come. So he's going to require his flock at your hands. At your hands, O shepherds, okay? And cause them to cease from feeding the flock. So God's going to take away his flock from those pastors, the Christian church and all that. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves anymore. For I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. For thus says the Lord God, behold, even I will both search my sheep and seek them out. So people who have a pure and good heart, God, who genuinely serve God, and they're just caught up in the false doctrine of their shepherds, God is going to genuinely pull them out. He's going to search for his sheep. He's going to bring them. And he's like, I will both search my sheep and seek them out. And as a shepherd seeks out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so will I seek out my sheep, and I will deliver them out of all the places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. What's the cloudy and dark day? The 3 days of darkness, which your pastors and your so-called prophets have not taught the children of Israel or the children of the kingdom to come about the 3 days of darkness and about the tribulation that's coming. You see that light shining in on the computer? Well, it's shining in through my house. That is the morning star, okay? There you go. You'll know it. You will know it. If you have light in you and if you spend a lot of time with God, you should know it. All right, Ezekiel 34:13. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries, and I will bring them to their own land. You see, when I told you deliverance is on Mount Zion, the pastor needs to teach you people this and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and in all the inhabited places of the country. And I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be. And there shall they lie in a good fold, and in fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel, Mount Zion. Now, Jeremiah 10:21. For the pastors are become brutish. They have not sought the Lord. They don't fast and pray. Therefore, they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. The people won't understand. Now, but they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock of is a doctrine of vanities. Is not what they teach in the church a doctrine of vanities? Okay. Jeremiah 10:14. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Yeah, you Christian pastors are very brutish in your knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in him. Now, many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. Now, Psalms 92:6, a brutish man knows not. And what did God tell you? The pastors nowadays are brutish. So a brutish man knows not. So what is it telling you? These pastors don't know not. Neither does a fool understand this. So the pastors don't know it and they don't understand it. Psalms 94:8, understand you brutish among the people, and you fools, When will you be wise? So a brooded person is not wise, they're a fool. And they have not sought the Lord because they don't fast. Now listen to furthermore prove what I'm saying. 56 and 10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. Ignorant means to not know. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, and loving to slumber. And there's also a spirit of ignorance, so you should cast that out. And the spirit of misunderstanding, you should cast that out. And spirit of confusion, you should cast that out. Now Matthew 23 and 24. You blind guides, which strain at the gant and swallow the camel. You know what Christ is saying to you, false teachers? What is the gant? Gant is a fly. All right. Remember, I told you witchcraft and stuff. A lot of them are they strain at the gant and swallow a camel. They have spirits all inside of them, Christ is telling you. Now let's continue. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup. Your dressing appearance is clean, and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. You're full of evil spirits. You see, when he talked about the gant and the camel, you have evil spirits inside of you, he's saying. And you see where he tells you make clean the outside of the platter, but within are full of extortion and excess. You're full of evil spirits. You're full of excess and extortion. You're full of iniquity. Now, Matthew 23 and 26, thou blind Pharisees, cleanse first that which is in within the cup of the platter. Cleanse your spirit just within. Remember, I told you, clean your spirit, water of purification, blood of Christ, fasting and praying. That's what you're supposed to do. Clean the outer man so you'll know how to teach the man, all right? Because it starts from within, that the outside of them may be clean also. All right, your inside is better than your outside. Now, Matthew 23 and 27, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, ye hypocrites, for you are like unto whited sculptures, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead man's bones and of all uncleanness. They're dead, walking dead men. Their spiritual body is dead, but they're teaching people. They have an appearance of religious righteousness on the outside of their clothing, but inside, full of evil spirits, full of dead man's bones. Do you see Christ was speaking to these people with authority? Do you see why the Pharisees hated him? Do you see why they wanted to crucify him? All right, just like the people today, when you tell them the truth, they want to crucify the truth, the people who are speaking the truth, the real prophets of the Lord. But let's keep going. Even so, you also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Remember, hypocrisy is a spirit of hypocrisy, iniquity, witchcraft, spirit of witchcraft. So what was Christ saying to these people? They understood right well, but you have to understand what the words in the Bible, you have to understand the context and how they were speaking in the olden times, all right, in Old English. Jeremiah 23 and 1, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says the Lord. Thus says the Lord, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. You have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, said the Lord. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them, and I will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase, Mount Zion, and I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, says the Lord. Behold, the